Alright YouTube, welcome to the Struggling Day Trader channel. I'm your host, Resident Day Trader, and your brother in the struggle. The name is Hassan, and I'm here to go over my trades for the day. So, first trade of the day was awesome. First trade of the month, first trade of the week. Great trade on AZN. And this was my new favorite setup, which is the 2-minute opening range breakout. And so basically, it's basically the first candle, it's green, and it's a narrow range, meaning it's not really much bigger than the candles it was trading in pre-market. It's just a normal candle, normal size candle. And this is a great version of that, which is very small top tail, very long bottom tail in relation to the body. So you see that it's got good volume. Set your stop order over the top and stop loss under the bottom. Tags you in, and boom, man, it starts moving. I added on this pullback, added again on this break, and took profit up here and let my last leg stop out. Oh man, I do it all the time. I get a nice position size, I take profit nice, and then I move my stop down to break even. Right? That's how it's supposed to go. But then I start thinking that it's okay. If it keeps going down, it's going to stop me out at break even with nothing. So let me just move my stop up under, the last level of what looks like support, which it had tested 79.14 repeatedly. So I put my stop up at 79.13. Like if it breaks there, it's probably going to stop me out. And I do it all the time. It's like, I can't believe how often I do it. It's got to be a hard rule. If I'm going to partial, I have to leave the rest. One, I have to be willing to stop out at break even. If I'm going to partial, I got to be willing to stop out at break even. Right? If I'm not willing to stop out at break even, just take it all out at target. Simple. I could have just taken 4R out right there and it would have been all good. But since I didn't do that and I chose to partial, I gotta leave my stop at break even, because my stop, it was my average was 78.99. I gave it 2 more pennies and moved it to 78.97. And look where it went. It came down to 79.02, 5 cents away from my stop, and now it's making new highs. The exact reason why I left the leg. Gosh, I do it so often. Probably every time I do a partial, this is what happens. Every time. But anyway, got a little bit over 3R on that one. So that's awesome. Let's take some notes. So AZN was 2-minute ORB. And where did it go? Let's see. This was my original, basically my original 2R profit, 3R target. So it definitely went 3R. Plus great entry. Might have rushed the ad. I gotta wait for it to pull in a little bit closer to VWAP, but it wasn't a bad ad. It wasn't a bad ad. I was still able to, my share size on the ad was small, and so I was still able to keep my stop below VWAP after adding and maintaining that same 1R risk. So it wasn't a bad ad, but the third ad wasn't bad either. The third ad wasn't bad. I mean, the second ad wasn't bad either. So I might have rushed first ad. Second was okay. Great take profit. My take profit, 3R was actually 33 cents, 79.33. But pre-market high was 79.31, and I didn't want to fight. Didn't want to fight that. So I moved my take profit down to 79.29, which is like, technique I do to try to make sure my order gets filled. I like to keep it under the whole dollar, the half dollar, or the, you know, the 10 cent, the whole 10, I guess you call it. But funny thing, if I had it at 33, I could have kept my stop there at 1R, and then had I taken profit here, and then it would have went up. I don't know. Who knows? Anyway, I'm glad I didn't have to wait that long to get to profit. So really happy with the take profit. Raise stop up on last leg and stop out. Again, have to commit to stop at break even or don't partial. Simple as that. Simple as that. All right, ARM. The rest of these trades suck, honestly. So ARM kind of looks like a setup. It's like, okay, you made a high, then a higher low, and then you made a higher high, and then you just coming back down to test VWAP, right? But the reality is, I liked it when it was here. When I saw this candle, I was like, okay, this has some potential. But when it made another low after that candle, that should have been the end. But it was like I was already attached to it. So I felt like I wanted to trade it regardless. So even though it made another low and then a lower low, that should have really made me walk away, right? Because we got a lower low in reference to that. That's no good. That's absolutely a deal breaker. Absolutely a deal breaker. These are the small things that I keep messing up on that's holding me back. Just these little simple oversights of being attached to something when there's a glaring flag right here telling you that you cannot trade that. Yeah, that's stupid. So it's supposed to be the HH plus H low to VWAP. Made a lower low. Still bought it. Rule break. Dumb. There we go. Stupid. All right, ADSK. ADSK wasn't like super flagrantly bad. When I pulled it up, see if I can make it look like it looked when I pulled it up this morning. Alright, so this is what I saw when I pulled it up. Nice opening candle, right? Showing some support down there, some buyers down there. Makes a high, pulls back to VWAP, and dips down, right? This is not a bad pattern. You got a high, you got a higher low. And so you buy the break, right? It's right there at VWAP. But in reality, if we're looking for this to be support, this is where it closed. It closed below VWAP, below high volume support. You know, like it's way down there. It did trade right back up over that and break through that, which triggered me into the trade. But this, if my whole reason for getting in is at this area is that this is a support, this is not treating it like support. It's not treating it like support. It's definitely a sign of weakness. So it stopped me out. I actually added here and raised my stop up from here to here. And then it stopped me out on the same candle. And then made a nice move up, which I wouldn't have taken profit, so it's not really that big of a deal. But yeah, then it came back down. I was thinking about trying to get back in here, but it never made another high. So I just this was one that came in on the scanner. This actually could have been a warning sign too. This huge indecision candle. It just didn't look that big when I pulled it up because you know, it looked like that when I pulled it up. So it wasn't really that alarming to me. But zooming in, it does look like a huge indecision candle. So it's just the thing about the scanner, man. It does show you things, but it forces you to act really fast. You know, like the stocks that I'm looking at from pre-market, I've looked at the daily, I've zoomed out, looked at levels, I've mapped out the pre-market high and yesterday's high. You know, I've put different color things on there so I can see it. You know, so that I got the pink for pre-market high and yellow for yesterday's high. You know, so it's just I can make better decisions quickly. But when I just pull something off the scanner, I feel really forced to, am I trading it or not? It's setting up. What am I going to do? You know, and it makes me feel like I don't have time to really look at what's actually happening. And basically this thing just gapped up into resistance and sold off quite clearly, you know. But I didn't even look at the daily. So yeah, just rushing in. I don't know. These are the moments that I have second thoughts about using the scanner. Of course, I love the scanner when it calls out something and it's perfect and I jump in. So maybe I just need to take my time. You know, when I pull up the scanner, go through my same routine I do in the morning, which is look at the daily, zoom out, check the levels, you know, and come up with some kind of thesis for what I think it could do. Yeah, this wasn't the one. This wasn't the one for sure. The volume was really sporadic. Definitely could have done better. Just got to be more patient. Scanner stock. Not the worst setup, but rushed. -1R. Okay, GPS. GPS was not bad. It was very strong, had momentum. But this is not my setup, buying up here near the highs. Right? My setup is to wait for a VWAP. Something similar to this test. Right? Test VWAP. Makes a higher high in reference to that. Right? We got the VWAP test. Then we got the higher high in reference to that high. And then we got a higher low in reference to that low. This is a nice trigger candle right there, right? Could have taken that, possibly. But instead, I'm looking up here, which I see the higher high. Let me get rid of this. You know, it's got a high there and it's got a low there. Higher high, higher low. But one is very choppy. Like every other candle is a color change, which is not what I want to see. And it's extended from the supports that I like to play off of. Right? I did see this high volume candle right here. Well, that was actually when I was thinking about playing it earlier. But yeah, you got this high volume candle in there. So, I mean, at worst, your stop will need to be down here. You know, which would have worked, but not much risk to reward in that kind of play. So you just wait for it to come closer to your stop like it did right there. So this was impatience, and I didn't risk much on it, so I felt like it was okay to do. But maybe if I want to take an extra trade and I feel like I have $1 or so to risk, I can do that, but it still needs to be a great setup, right? The only reason I really wanted to take this at a $1 risk instead of my normal $5 was because I knew it wasn't a great setup. But I was like, well, I'll just take lower risk and try it anyway. And I gotta stop doing that because it messes up my data, it messes up my logging in TradeZilla. Like, cause now basically I gotta flag this as a no setup or a rule break, and it just messes up my accuracy count, all of that stuff. I'm just two plays. Basically, I think about calling it the VWAP sniper and 2-minute opening range breakout. Just roll with that. Just roll with that. You know, if I don't see either of those two, then I don't do anything. Yeah, so GPS, not the setup. Bought near highs, far from support. Will break. Minus, I don't know. Alright, last but not least. This one's the heartbreaker of the day for sure. It's nothing worse than buying something, getting stopped out, and then it goes and does what you wanted it to do in the first place. If I wanted to play this one, I just needed to have a wider stop. This isn't really trading action to where you can map out highs and lows on. I mean, it's kind of moving up and down. What's that look like on the 1 minute? Yeah, this is not really good action to base a trade off of. I should have been down here looking at the 5. Like, if I'd have waited for something like this, now that would have been golden. That would have been golden. But yeah, this was just I mean, you know, it could have done that from here, but my timing was just off, stopped me out, and then went on a nice uptrend. So I don't know. Low volume play. Stopped out. Then went to target. Yeah, I mean, really, initial move was made. Shouldn't have traded it. So yeah, I mean, it really could have been. It should have been a 3R day. None of these trades are good. None of these red trades are good. And that's typically how it happens. Typically, the red trades are the bad ones and the green trades are the good ones. Yeah, COHR to target, man. That's wild. That's wild. But that's how the cookie crumbles. Grateful to have a green day. Thanks to this great trade on AZN. I just got to do better, man. Just got to do better about the little things. Getting into trades when the pattern isn't exactly what you want. Buying extended from support. All these little things. Making sure my stop is under VWAP. I need to actually type that out. Yeah, it's just still just a few little tweaks, man. A few little tweaks that's holding me back. And when I get those things fixed, we're gonna be in there like swimwear. Inshallah. Alright, that's all I got, man. But good way to start the month. Green day. Hopefully hoping for a green week. That'll lead to a green month. That'll lead to $25 risk a trade. That's really what I'm itching to get back to. But more than that, I want to have a good batting average, and I can't be having days like today if I want to increase my batting average. I just got to be more picky. Anyway, thanks for watching, you guys. Hit the like button for me. Discord link is in the description. Love to see you guys in there. Yeah, but that's it, man. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.